Rand Paul is a media creation, and he's full of it. He's completely full of bunk gas. But he's a media creation, that Rand Paul is. Now I could be talking about all his bigotry, but the past couple weeks dealing with Facebook, I think I've had my fill of bigotry for a while, and talking about it here, But Rand Paul, man, that Rand Paul, whew, he is he's a media man. He's created by the media. It's like he would be nothing but if not for the media just pumping him up. It's kind of like Scott Brown over in Massachusetts, who, by the way, is no relation to me. But yeah, that Rand Paul, he'd be nobody without the media. Now, is he even a real person? I mean, come to think of it, have you ever seen Rand Paul in person? Is he just a draw? Like, when you see pictures of him in the paper or on the internet, is he really just a composite, like Betty Crocker? Is he just like something that somebody put together with Paint Shop Pro or some Photoshop program on their computer? And by the way, we've got idiots outside making noise with their power tools again, just like 2 weeks ago, because they think that's their constitutional right. But oh well. Yeah, the same idiots. Oh well, what can you do? Yeah, Rand Paul. Now, is Rand Paul really just a robot? Is he just like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz? And if he only had a brain and a heart. But sometimes I wonder if he really has neither, because of the way he's been lately. He certainly doesn't have much of a brain, judging by some of the things he said lately. And he's funny. I mean, it's not going to be so funny if he wins the election. And something tells me, though, I don't have to worry about that as long as he keeps opening his mouth. There's a teacher around here. I mean, I was never in his class because I didn't go to the same school, but I know a lot of people who did. There's a high school teacher around here who always used to say, it's better to be thought of as an idiot than to open your mouth and prove that you are one. And I think that saying applies perfectly to Rand Paul, because every time he opens his mouth, he's an idiot. He's he comes up with he says so many stupid things. I mean, I'm not so sure if he's much worse than Jim Bunning and Mitch McConnell, because we have those two idiots already. So he couldn't possibly be much worse than them, because not many people are. But man, but he's, now you see, when I say he's a media creation, what I mean by that is he would not have a prayer of winning if it wasn't for the media just fawning over him and saying, "Oh, look, it's Rand Paul. Look at this, everybody. See? Here's Rand Paul. Look." It's just like with Scott Brown up in Massachusetts, also known as Scott Records Brown. But it was the same way with him. They say, "Oh, look at this. It's a Republican. Isn't this cute? It's a Republican. Let's listen to what it has to say." Of course, the media's been like that with a lot of other Republicans too, like Bush. Like back when he was running in 2000, when Bush was running for president, I've never seen anybody who got so much media support as Bush. Gosh. It's like they just fawned over the guy. Just totally fawned over him. And a few other people like that. Who else was like that? I don't know. I could think of a lot of them. But Bush was one, and usually they tend to be people who otherwise weren't that well known previously. though in Bush's case, so that was an exception. But I guess it's just because he was Bush, so rules never applied to him. That was right around the same time that I got chased away from Devou Park for, quote, disrupting a Bush rally. I call it the Devou Park Showdown after all these years. In July, that'll be 10 years since that happened. I'll have a big party just to celebrate. Yeah, I think it was near the end of July of 2000 when that happened. But anyway, that was Rand Paul is the media man, and he's almost like a cult leader. You notice that? He has people who just go completely crazy over him. They're like, I mean, they just love the guy. They're like, Rand Paul! Look, everybody, it's Rand Paul! like it's just sort of like how back in the 50s, how teenagers, like, they used to just love Elvis, and they go to like Elvis concert and they go, and they start fainting and passing out because they saw Elvis. I got some email here. Email. It's just a Google alert. Cottonwood wants the city of Cottonwood. That's some town in Arizona is trying. They think the war on apparently there's some town in Arizona that thinks the war on drugs isn't tough enough. So they want their own drug laws that are stiffer than the state and federal laws. Now, I don't get it why so many people think that the drug war has been expanding and expanding for 30 years, and yet there's still some people in public office who think that it's not tough enough. Can you believe that? So there's some town in Arizona that actually wants stiffer laws to control what law-abiding people are doing. And in fact, they already have. See, I'm looking at the article right now. See, this is see, what I could do is, now, the computers are a modern wonder. They're a modern marvel. You can sit here and read this stuff. You don't have to lug around bulky newspapers and stuff and sit here and go and rustle the papers around like some people do on the air. The computers bring the news to us. So you don't have to walk down the street and buy a paper or have a paper delivered to your house each day and worry about it getting stolen, like what always used to happen when I lived in Island Heights. But the article's not coming up because aha, it's coming up now. Guess I can delete that. Yeah, but hey, it's still not coming up. But yeah, there's a town in Arizona that's now, and even Cincinnati, that's happened from time to time. Like several years ago, there was some councilman in Cincinnati who wanted. They actually thought the laws on marijuana in Ohio weren't stiff enough. So they wanted a city ordinance that was tougher. Now, I don't know if it ever passed. I never heard anything about it passing, but can you believe that? How can they actually think that the laws on marijuana are too lenient? I mean, aha, here's the article. They were, this town in Arizona says they were impatient with the state legislature not being tough enough on drugs, and they want a prescription to buy cold medicine. But that's another thing. I mean, federal law said, like drugs like Sudafed and pseudoephedrine, drugs like that. Federal law says these are not prescription drugs. Yet, there's some cities and states keep trying to make it prescription only. That's violating federal law. So anyway, that's the point of today, is that Rand Paul is a media man. He's a media creation.